for the howitzer, and of course Adrian for our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, watch to the sky now as we're about to see the entrance of the Royal Aircraft Factory SE-5A, flown by Matt Gillespie. The Fokker D1 triplane, flown by Neil Anderson. The Sopwith 1.5 strutter by Kees van Borkel, and the Newport 28, Mike Smith at the controls from the Great War Flying Museum. Dans le ciel de Barrie, dans les prochaines minutes, 4 appareils de la Première Grande Guerre. Le SE-5A à l'échelle de 85%, le British, le Sopwith Scooter, le Newport 28, et bien entendu, le très célèbre, le triplan Fokker BR-1 aux couleurs du Baron Rouge. Wonderful replicas fly at a very slow speed, as they did back in their day, and they're flying against the wind this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, but they are making their way toward the bay, and again we're going to see some fine examples of the SE-5A, the Fokker D1, and the Sopwith 1.5 strutter along with the Newport 28, all in the colors of some very famous aces as we begin to tell their story. Aircraft Factory SE-5A that Matt Gillespie is flying is painted up in the Royal Flying Corps markings of Canadian ace Billy Bishop. The Canadian representing the Royal Flying Corps was the highest scoring Allied ace of World War I. The Fokker D1 triplane, flown by Neil Anderson that you'll see shortly, in the red colors of the Red Baron. Von Richthofen, the highest scoring ace of World War I. The Sopwith 1.5 strutter, flown by Kees van Borkel, is colored in the Royal Naval Air Service Flight Sub-Lieutenant Ronald Francis Redband, who would become the second commander of the Canadian Air Force from Montreal. And last but not least, the Newport 28 that Mike Smith will be flying by is painted as the American Air Service markings of Eddie Rickenbacker, the U.S. highest scoring ace. Ladies and gentlemen, from the left, here they come now, our 4 World War I replicas. Et voilà, mesdames et messieurs, regardez sur la gauche, les 4 appareils de la Première Guerre mondiale, le SE-5 aux commandes Matt Gillespie, aux couleurs du Royal Flying Corps, appareil qui avait été piloté par Barrie Cousins, le Sopwith Strutter, Kees van Baker aux commandes, et il est aux couleurs du lieutenant B.F. Redback de Royal Naval Air Service, le Newport 28, Mike Smith, cette réplique, et, bien entendu, le Fokker triplan rouge du Baron Rouge aux commandes, Neil Anderson. Et regardez comme dans ces appareils, volent lentement là, qui travaille contre le vent, ici, au-dessus du blanc d'eau de la ville de Barrie. The SE-5A that you see is an 85% scale replica of the British SE-5A. The Sopwith 1.5 strutter, 2-place machine gunner facing rear, the pride of their fleet. And the Newport 28, their fastest replica. The Fokker, a favorite at air shows, currently under construction rather, that we don't have flying with us today, but will soon. And the Fokker DR1 triplane, in the colors and markings of the famous and dreaded Baron Manfred von Richthofen.
Si on parle un peu des avions, de S5. Et l'extérieur correspond réellement au plan originaux de Royal Factory. Toutefois, comme j'ai dit un petit peu plus tôt, le fuselage est mécanique. Et le moteur qui est utilisé est un moteur de camion Ford avec une boîte de répulsion qui entraînait les hélices sur le modèle original. Ça a été remplacé par un moteur Ranger. Il est aux couleurs de l'avion que pilotait Billy Bishop, le meilleur pilote de Royal Flying Corps britannique. Et leur meilleur pilote était canadien. Il s'appelait William Avery Bishop, Billy Bishop.
The Red Baron aircraft that you easily recognize on the left being chased by the SE-5A replica in the markings of Billy Bishop. To our right, Eddie Rickenbacker is chasing the 1.5 Strutter. The Newport aircraft is the tail-end aircraft in the formation to the right, and the 1.5 Strutter, the Sopwith, is leading. As they now converge on each other, I want you to consider Borden's connection to Vimy Ridge, too, in World War I. 1916, what is now Base Borden was designed as a new training ground for the Canadian Expeditionary Force, battalions destined for overseas duty. Many of the first soldiers who left Camp Borden were destined for the battle at Vimy Ridge. And 100 years later, CFB Borden is proud to continue training Canadian soldiers, sailors, and airmen and women. During World War I, thousands of soldiers trained in Borden in the 18-kilometer of trenches built to simulate the most modern form of warfare at the time. The base also honors those who fought at Vimy Ridge and honors them with a new memorial wall and a lone bugler near the main entrance. We do encourage you to go and see that memorial.
Sur la gauche, on voit le S5 qui suit et qui chasse le triplan du Fokker, triplan du Baron Rouge. Le Baron Rouge, l'as allemand de la Première Guerre mondiale fameux, qui était appelé d'ailleurs Baron Rouge par les Britanniques et le Diable Rouge par l'aviation française. Il a fait 80 victoires à son tableau de chasse et finalement ce n'est pas dans une bataille aérienne que le Baron Rouge a connu sa fin. Il s'est abattu par un tir d'un champ-de-fin à partir d'une des fameuses tranchées dont on a parlé plus tôt. Mais quelle belle reproduction que les gens du Great War Museum ont fait sur ce Fokker B1 triplan avec Neil Anderson aux commandes.
It was in 1917 that a group of Royal Flying Corps officers arrived at Borden. The Royal Flying Corps built Canada's first flying station. Borden is the birthplace of today's Royal Canadian Air Force and trained thousands of air and ground crew for service overseas. In 1924, Borden became the largest air station in Canada. Today, CFB Borden is a thriving and dynamic base that trains nearly 20,000 troops per year in a variety of support trades. CFB Borden has trained in the order of 2 million men and women for a wide variety of trades and occupations within the Canadian Armed Forces since its humble beginnings as an infantry training base in 1916.
Effectivement, l'ouverture de la base de Borden en 1916 et un an après, en 1917, un an après son ouverture, un groupe d'officiers de Royal Flying Corps arrivait au camp Borden pour en faire la toute première base d'aviation du Canada, ce qui fait de Borden le lieu de naissance de ce qui est aujourd'hui l'aviation royale du Canada. En 1924, Borden était la plus importante base aérienne au Canada et c'est durant les années 30 qu'elle fut désignée base d'entraînement permanente. Aujourd'hui, la base de Borden entraîne plus de 20 000 militaires chaque année. Depuis ses heures des débuts en 1916, Borden a entraîné plus de 2 millions d'hommes et de femmes. Si vous avez la présentation d'aujourd'hui, nous vous invitons à visiter le musée de la base des forces canadiennes de Borden, où vous pourrez voir plus de 700 000 pièces de son histoire militaire.
So many artifacts in the museum, of course, at Borden. We hope you will take the time to see as well and learn more about the fascinating history of this area. And the Great War Flying Museum opens on Victoria Day long weekend in May and doesn't close until mid-September. Following the grand annual fly-in and air display, everyone is welcome there weekends, holidays, throughout the season. Bring your cameras, children and grandparents, and enjoy the displays and learn the significant Canadian history. So ladies and gentlemen, let's continue to watch and listen to them fly as we turn back the hands of time to the site that was a common site over the air here of Barrie all those years ago at Camp Fortin, which rapidly became Canada's largest flying station. Ladies and gentlemen, the World War I replica fighters of the Canadian Great